Jim Crow discrimination in almost every institution of our lives, that casts a long shadow. And that's still part of our DNA. That's passed on. We're not cured of it. Racism. We are not cured of. Clearly. And it's not just a matter of it not being polite to say nigger in public. That's not the measure of whether racism still exists or not. And it's not just a matter of it not being polite to say nigger in public. That's not the measure of whether racism still exists or not. Racism. We are not cured of. Clearly. And it's not just a matter of it not being polite to say nigger in public. That's not the measure of whether racism still exists or not. It's not just a matter of overt discrimination. Societies don't overnight completely erase everything that happened 200 to 300 years prior.
It is taboo.
The message that the president had, forget what he was saying. It's just the fact that he used, and he didn't say nigga, as our students would say. He said nigger.
I find it to be offensive.
Which part?
That the media is deciding whether he can use that word or not. I mean, I was watching.
But what about the context of what he was saying? They're not saying, and he just said that's not the issue. That is not the issue. The issue is that people are deeply wounded by racial discrimination and racism. It's not the issue of whether a person uses that word or not. In public, he said. In public. Because we don't know what people are saying privately. I mean, he just came out and said the real deal. And so, but all they can do is harp on him using that word. I hope he, please do not come back and apologize for saying what he said. Please.
I don't think he's going to come back and apologize. His wife is not going to allow him to apologize.
I hope not. She probably said, nigga, please. Don't
I don't yeah. And the thing about it that bothers me is which one of the media is making this a big deal.
What do you mean, which one?
Well, the white media. Oh. They're making this a big issue, and
because that's the easy way to get around actually having a true discussion.
And there was someone last night on RNN. I don't know what RNN stands for.
I think that's a Russian news, but yeah.
Yeah, there was 3 white guys with 1 black guy, and the host was white as well.
Right.
And the black guy was trying to tell them there was a Republican strategist, there was another guy, and there was another woman, and then there was the host. And the black guy was trying to tell them, why don't you go to Charleston, South Carolina, and ask the black people there if they got a problem with what the president said. Or as a matter of fact, why don't you go in America and ask most of the black folks if they had a problem with what the president said. You know what that reminds me of? It reminded me of a Super Bowl commercial where there was a white guy in the elevator, and
you tell me
talking like a Jamaican. And oh my God, the white media was upset. Oh, how could you do that to Jamaica? That is so bad. You are. They went to Jamaica. The Jamaicans were like, man, we need more like that. We are happy to hear people trying to talk like us. That's okay. We didn't find nothing wrong with it. But somehow, the media wants to decide what is okay and what is not okay. And it's unfortunate that most of the time it's the white media. And they're making decisions. They're trying to make these decisions for us, just like they're trying to make this decision for Obama. For President Obama. I mean, you hear them trying to change the details behind what happened.
Yeah, and the fact that let's not talk about the
terrorism,
murder, right? But we could talk about the president using this.
Yeah.
So once this CNN's host stunt backfires, I didn't read the story.
That's on
Atlanta Black Star.
Yeah, that Atlanta Black Star.
What did he? Did you see this? I mean, I turned the television off just watching him because he's such a clown.
Okay.
Well, I can read this for you. Controversial CNN anchor Don Lemon inserted himself into the nation's already heated debate of the N-word. The conversation was sparked after the media pounced on President Obama's use of the word in a wide-ranging interview for Mark Maron's podcast. Obama used the word in context and talked about how it was no longer acceptable to use the word, but there are other ways of being racist. Monday night, Lemon tried to discuss offensive words and symbols by alternately holding up a sign with the word nigger and then the Confederate flag. Each time he asked, does this offend you? According to USA Today, Lemon had previously said journalists should be able to use the N-word, but it was relevant to the story. Lemon had made several controversial statements in the past, such as asking if a missing plane was sucked into a black hole. While reporting on Ferguson, Missouri protests over police shooting of Michael Brown, Lemon said he smelled marijuana. I remember that. Some of Lemon's past statements, where he agreed with Fox News commentator O'Reilly, have drawn criticism in the black community. And during a live report last week from Charleston, South Carolina, he repeatedly interrupted a woman who called him an Uncle Tom.
We have that. we have that video. Let's
Let me hear that.
Let's see.
Is it queued up?
Yeah, it's queued up.
All right.
Let's get that one. We have that one. Let's get that one.
I mean, I should say, just a short time ago, this street was open for the first time since this shooting. There is now traffic by the Mother Emanuel Church. The church itself is not open for some time. I'm joined now by Don Lemon, who's here with me.
I have a friend.
Yeah, I'm
But you can understand why people are upset because, this doesn't happen. This shouldn't happen to anyone. The whole thing that we have been talking about is whether this is terrorism or not. And I think it is terrorism. By any stretch of the imagination, you can understand that people are upset. But, we're going to continue to talk about that.
The president himself said he's angry today.
Right.
And local leaders said they are angry too, that violence like this can't happen in a church. And everyone I've spoken to as well has also talked about healing.
I just think it's really sad that when we have 9 people who've lost their lives.
We're going to take a break.
And we have to deal with something like this. So I think it's important too that people see the ignorance of it.
Stop praying.
Meme on Twitter. There you go. With people editing the sign to read, "Please fire me." Twitter user Michael Singleton used Photoshop to edit the sign to read, "My constant ploy for attention." Salon accused Lemon of exploiting the recent Charleston shootings for ratings. Yes, the idea that a theoretically respected national news anchor would use a murder of 9 people and the ensuing conversation about racism in America to make his own gratuitous, self-promotional meme. How do you say that? Meme. It really is pretty offensive, said Salon writer. Social media has already become a battleground with people taking to platforms like Twitter and Facebook to express their views about the Charleston massacre. Most of the comments have condemned the shooter, but in Texas, a volunteer firefighter, Curtis Cook, was terminated after he posted, "He needs to be praised for the good deed he has done," on a Facebook page about the shooting. An hour later, he was told to report to a supervisor's office with his belongings and was fired. In a tearful TV interview, Cook said his comments were taken out of context and he was referring to an individual who had donated a large amount of money to the victim's family, not Dylan Roof. Cook said the misunderstanding had ended his 23-year career. You can't put your opinions out there anymore because somebody, somewhere, is going to take that the wrong way, and then they're going to run with it, and that's what happened here, Cook said in an interview. Cook has deleted his Facebook profile, so there's no way to review what he was actually referring to. He is not the only person to be fired for social media comments about the Charleston shooting. However, the other case seems to be more clear-cut. According to Addicting Info, Hailey DeBona took to Twitter to express her feelings about the shootings. She said minorities should stop complaining and leave the United States if they're not happy here. After social media abusers complained to Regal Entertainment, DeBona's employer, she shared another post from her supervisor where he told her social media has no affiliation with our corporation. However, social media complained again to Regal Entertainment, and she too was fired.
People don't get it, man.
Wow.
They don't get it. Now, you know there were 9 states that still use the Confederate flag on their license plates, right? Oh my God. Oh God.
But you know what? In these 9 states, I'm sure all in the South. Do you have the names of these states?
Yeah, you
and,
think?
And these states have a high black population.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't understand how. Well, I'm gonna say Mississippi.
Yeah, that's one.
Texas or no?
No.
I think I just read that Texas had to take stuff off. So it was Mississippi. I guess Alabama's gonna be next
Alabama
to it.
is another one.
The Carolinas, both or just one of them?
Both Carolinas, yeah.
I don't think Florida would.
Close by to South Carolina.
Georgia?
Georgia, yeah.
No, I don't remember seeing that in Georgia. I go there a lot. I don't remember seeing that much there.
The hometown of Elvis Presley, home state
Tennessee?
of Elvis. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, you know, it's...
But why
it's
are...
LA, but it's not Los Angeles.
Louisiana. Why is it that, the black people in those towns,
one will surprise
states...
you. MD will surprise you.
Maryland?
Yeah. And there's one left with VA, Virginia. Yeah, they still allow license plates bearing the Confederate battle flag. You know, so...
South will not rise again.
Maryland is the only state to allow license plates with a Confederate battle flag that was never officially a member of the Confederacy. You know. On the side of the debate in 2014, California banned the sale of display of the Confederate flags by the government. The Supreme Court in Texas recently, recently issued a decision that the state of Texas was within its rights to deny requests to allow specialty plates with the Confederate flag imagery. The court ruled that states could allow such plates, but it did not have to because license plates represent government speech. This throws into question a ruling by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit that compels some states to offer the plates. And in Virginia, soon after the Supreme Court ruling and the mass shooting in a South Carolina church, Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe, a Democrat, announced that we will work with the State Attorney General and Secretary of Transportation to end Virginia's issuance of license plates bearing the Confederate flag. So there you have it, man. It's and they have different organizations that sponsors. Because they make money from this. They raise money from these specialty license plates. Because I was trying to get some specialty license plates in New Jersey with Caribbean countries on it, and I've been having a hard time trying to get that. So, like, for example...
You mean, like, how would you, like, put a little Trinidadian flag over the state of New Jersey or something?
Yeah. Like, you look at Alabama. Alabama's sponsoring organization is the Sons of Confederate Veterans. In Georgia, the sponsoring organization is Georgia Division, Sons of the Confederate Veterans. In Louisiana, they're all across these states now. in Louisiana is the Sons of Confederate Veterans. And so listen to this. In Alabama, the proceeds benefit Sons of Confederate Veterans to be used to fund historical projects.